There is an incredible amount of military surplus guns available on the market today. They tend to work exceptionally well and are very cheap in comparison to some of the modern-day choices you will come across. Products of a bygone era, they still hit the target just as well as any modern gun, and they do it at rock-bottom retail prices. If you're new to the idea of owning military surplus guns, or just interested in the topic in general, this video will cover a few of the best surplus firearms to own and what it is that makes them worth owning. Remember, these guns were built for military purposes, and so should still, to this day, exhibit high-quality construction and functionality. And of course, you'll have a great-looking piece of history for the collection. Mosin-Nagant M1891. Adopted by the Imperial Russian Army in 1891, the Mosin-Nagant has served through 2 world wars, Korea, Vietnam, and countless Third World bloodbaths. The M1891 is as rugged as the Russian landscape, built to operate in Siberian cold, Mongolian deserts, and in a conscript peasant soldier's hands. It is not an elegant or well-finished weapon like the Mausers, but in typical Russian fashion, it is brutally effective at its intended job. The bolt is stiff to operate, the long barrel unwieldy, and the sights regulated for the long-abandoned Imperial Russian measurement system. But it will fire no matter what. Due to often indifferent manufacturing by pseudo-slave labor under Soviet communism, accuracy is spotty. Some rifles are exceptional, and others abysmal. But even at today's prices, one could afford to buy 2 or 3, keep the pick of the litter, and sell the rest. This is the perfect option for those who need or want an inexpensive rifle, although prices have risen in the last few years. 1911 pistols. Of course, the king of surplus pistols is currently the United States military surplus 1911 pistols. It took over 30 years to get them into the civilian marksmanship program, and took the CMP a long time to start sales. Getting one requires CMP membership, a roll of the dice, a fair bit of money, and a sacrifice to the Lord of Surplus. Or something like that. American shooters of all types have been waiting for these classic fighting pistols to hit the American market. The 1911 holds a special place in the hearts of American gun owners, historians, surplus aficionados, and many more. As many shooters will tell you, it's the pistol that won 2 world wars. Not to mention action in Korea, Vietnam, and all those little hot pockets in the supposed Cold War. These guns come in various conditions, and the examples we see currently hitting the hands of gun owners come from various production runs as well. Most appear to be solid little shooters, but don't expect it to be free from nicks, knacks, and scruffs. SKS Rifles. The venerable SKS rifle served in the military forces of dozens of countries across the Eastern Bloc and Asia. As such, you have tons of SKS rifles slipping into the United States from various countries. This is the perfect firearm for shooters to grab up and go. It's more than just a surplus rifle that can be used as a working gun, a hunting rifle, and even a defensive weapon. The fixed 10-round magazines make them AWB band-proof, which is rather nice. SKS rifles utilize a short-stroke gas piston system that has been proven quite reliable. Cheap and available ammo makes the SKS one of the best choices if you're less of a collector and more of a shooter. It's no sniper rifle, but it puts lead where you need it. The open iron sights aren't great, but please, don't butcher it with an optic mount. Browning High Power. One of the most popular overall service pistols on the surplus handgun market today is the Browning High Power. This gun is one of the most widely used service pistols in history, and has been used by the armed forces of over 50 different countries, and is considered by many to be the king of surplus pistols. It pioneered double-stack magazines and quickly made them the standard. The single-action trigger isn't the best, and the magazine safety is lame. but overall, the high power is a fantastic firearm. These sure-shooting surplus pistols are fun to shoot and quite accurate. Unlike most of the pistols on this list, this gun keeps up with the competition with their aftermarket 17-round magazines. It's slightly old school with an optical rail, but hell, it killed enough Nazis, commies, and fascists to earn its spot as a top-flight fighting pistol. Despite its popularity, an actual Browning high power can be very pricey on the secondary market. However, collectors on a budget will be happy to know there are several variants available on the surplus market that are much more affordable. For example, the FEG manufactured variant can be found in the $350 range. When compared to the often $1,000 plus Brownings, that is a steal. Mauser K98. Next up on our list is another legendary rifle. This one came from a pre-war factory in Germany. The K98 Mauser was mass-produced by nearly countless other manufacturers that made both copies, clones, and their own rifles that mimicked the Mauser's design. There are many things that made the K98 great. It utilizes a controlled round feed system and claw extractor that make the rifle very reliable. A blind box magazine housed the cartridges, which, for the most part, were 8x57. With so many Mauser rifles and its various descendants all over the world, it was naturally an easy choice for hunting. There are still countless rifles in circulation today, some of them completely rebuilt and changed into hunting rifles, as well as completely untouched versions in their original military configuration. M1 Garand, American General George S. Patton, called this iconic rifle the greatest battle implement ever devised. Proven in every environment on Earth, from the Arctic to jungles and deserts, the M1 ranks as a top prepper rifle. Its semi-automatic operation, combined with an 8-round, internal magazine fed with en-bloc clips, gives the Garand fantastic firepower. Yet, it flies under the radar in many jurisdictions, where more modern semi-auto rifles are either banned or subject to draconian registration schemes, since it does not accept detachable, high-capacity magazines. It has a few drawbacks, however. As an early semi-auto design, it is more complex than needed because conservative Army officials insisted on certain features which, in hindsight, were unnecessary. Its complexity means there are many more things that can go wrong with it compared to simpler bolt actions. However, spare parts are still plentiful, and most repairs don't require advanced gunsmith skills. It can have particular tastes in ammunition, though. Owners should run at least 100 rounds through it without a malfunction before they settle on any particular load. It's best to feed the Garand mil-spec FMJ 3006 ammunition whenever possible. This can limit its usefulness as a hunting rifle if your particular one won't digest soft-nose, big-game ammo. Still, quite a few M1 aficionados hunt with these superb guns. Prices range from reasonable to certifiably insane. Due to the gun's complexity, always get a prospective purchase examined by a knowledgeable gunsmith before you buy, if possible. M1917 Enfield. The M1917 is a stopgap rifle adopted by the US Army during World War I. US industry couldn't meet the demand for the Army's main battle rifle, the M1903 Springfield. Rather than take precious time to tool up factories to produce it, the War Department settled on a rifle that several American arms companies produced at the time under contract for the British. It proved fast and easy to just rechamber them from .303 to .30-06. The M1917 went on to become the most issued US rifle during the war and outnumbered the Springfield almost 3-1. Unlike the M1903, however, collectors have yet to drive M1917 prices beyond sane levels, so average people can still get one for reasonable money. The M1917 is a robust design, made from high-quality materials. It has the best sights ever put on a military rifle at the time, and it is quite accurate. Its oversized magazine holds not 5, but 6 rounds, although This feature is a bit moot, since charger clips for the gun hold just 5. From a prepper's perspective, the M1917's greatest advantage is the fact it fires the ubiquitous 30-06 Springfield round, which means the ammunition is available everywhere and affordable. The 30-06 is America's second most popular big game cartridge, just behind the .308 Winchester. And, as such, companies offer loads fit for everything from rabbits to bears. Several ammo makers now also sell mil-spec FMJ loads. 1903 Springfield. Another contender for the title of the best military surplus rifle for hunting is the 1903 Springfield. It was designed to incorporate many of the features that made the Model 1898 Mauser such a great rifle. The designers were perhaps a little too successful in this regard because Springfield ended up paying royalties to Mauser for patent infringement. As a result, the 1903 Springfield has many of the same strengths as the Mauser. It is also chambered in 30-06 Springfield, which is a definite plus. If you're going to be hunting big game in North America, the 30-06 Springfield is almost never the wrong answer. The real key to buying affordable surplus guns is to be willing to shop. Lots of the recent spate of high prices might seem typical, but if you shop auction websites and keep your eyes open at gun shows, you can get into the game quite cheaply. I'm only a man with a tight budget and a love for surplus goodies. However, I want to turn it over to the audience. What's your tip for getting into the surplus guns market?